This call is being recorded.
That's right. You heard her. Welcome to the call, everybody. My name is Tim Damron, and don't worry, Natasha Jordan is also here on the call to save my butt. That's right. She's here on the call. We just want to welcome Natasha. Welcome to the call, Natasha. Thank you for saving my behind. Glad that you're here. I think people were a little sleepy last night. Hopefully not. But anyway, glad you're here tonight.
I know. I was doing like this, just listening. I was so like on the edge of my seat. I loved it.
Awesome. Thanks. Wow, that's so flattering. Awesome. Well, what are we doing tonight? What's going on?
Oh, we got debt and foreclosure class coming up. So if you've had anybody that sent you any collections, how to foreclose, different things like that. But before we get into all that, I wanted to welcome everybody. Today is Monday, March the 10th, 2025. Before we get started, I'd like to welcome everybody to the call. As a disclaimer, this here is for entertainment purposes only. We are here just as advice of stuff that we have done ourselves, anywhere from taxes or anything like that. If you have any questions, please let us know. We're not here to, like I said, hurt anybody's feelings. And we do not promote tobacco, alcohol, any of the stuff that is not nice. But anyway,
we don't do any of that illegal stuff, that illegal TikTok stuff. We don't do any of that. So all you TikTok police people, go back to your coffee break.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, please put them in the description down there, and we'll try to answer them the best of our ability. So,
absolutely.
But have fun. Ask away.
Yeah, we're gonna have fun tonight, man. You know, I posted this video, and I was telling you a little bit about it, and I was trying to pull it up. I'm gonna see if I can pull some of it up because, oh my goodness gracious, there's a lot of people out there, and you know what? Here's the thing. The human side of me says, this is great. This is great that people are growing. This is great that people are asking the questions. This is great. I love this, Hold on a second. God, Christine just made it on the call. Welcome to the call. And, but then on the other side, he's telling us to do such stupid stuff. And I did a 5-video deal on, and I say stupid stuff. I mean, stupid as in if, not that he's stupid, but that you're just missing it. And, hold on a second. Let's see. And then one of the questions, and this is kind of the subject to this class that's coming up on the 11th and 12th, Natasha. So he was saying this, everybody's got legal advice these days. Anyway, except for us, of course, we're not doing any legal advice. We're just reporting on the news. This came out today. And the number one, these are questions you should ask your bank. Do not ask your bank, okay? Do not do this. I'm reading this off so that we can learn something. Please do not do any of this. And I'm going to tell you guys why. First question. Does your bank create money when it issues a loan as described by the Bank of England and the Federal Reserve? If not, provide a certified accounting record proving otherwise. Oh, that sounds official, doesn't it? Does it make you scared? It shouldn't. But this is just the first question.
Well,
and that's not a question.
I'm surprised I didn't say you could get up, turn around, and leave, please.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, yeah, and this is only question number 1. Let's go through the second one. This was funny too. When my loan was issued, did the bank debit an existing depositor's account, or did it create the new deposit as liability on its balance sheets? Please provide documentation. Now, one of the things we're going to talk about in this class, Natasha, and of course you remember this too, but is that we always talk about the relationship between you, the security agreement, because that's what he's talking about here. When you're talking about loans, you're talking about security agreements, and the relationship between you and the lender. And so the big mystery out there is, what is the relationship between the lender and the Federal Reserve? That's the big mystery, isn't it? Right? I think. So we're asking all these questions, and I want you guys to understand the bank is required to service the account only. Okay. When you start asking all these back of the house questions, and I'm going to tell you, the bank doesn't create any money. Okay. What the bank does is simply operate as an agent between us and the Treasury. That is what the bank does. We're going to talk more about that in this class. And if you guys have questions, go ahead, throw them up there, man. I'll answer them tonight. I don't care. Even if they're in the class, I'll still answer them tonight. I don't care. So what happens is that the bank really doesn't loan you any money. So what we're going to see in this all these questions is that there's an assumption that the bank loans you money. And there's an assumption that the bank has to loan you money if they give you a loan. That's another assumption that's in here. And I'm here to tell you that can't be farther from the truth, because Natasha, what law says that they have to do that? What laws, out of all these smart people out there talking all this stuff, be nice tonight, talking all this, we're going to tell you how the world works. Oh, stop it. These guys are missing the most fundamental part of all of this, and they're not understanding that there is no law that says that the bank must use its own funds to loan you money. There's not a single law that says that. And if you read your security agreements, they don't say anything about that. And that's where this is going south, guys. This is why this stuff doesn't work. Okay. Number 3. Did the bank provide real consideration for the pre-existing tender, or did it create the funds through an accounting entity? If the latter, how does it constitute lawful consideration under contract law? That was the other $50,000 question. Let me tell you something. Don't ask your bank questions like this, okay? Because I'm going to answer this, okay? The bank provided consideration as soon as they either put funds into your account and you accepted those funds, or here's what I saw in the car business, Natasha. I saw people, when we saw OSF deals, what we call OSF, which means outside financing, the credit unions would write the check for the customer, and the customer walks in. Capital One writes the check. They do that too. Those Capital One sales that they have, you know how they send you a check and here's a check and you could just go down to the dealership and do whatever. Yeah, they're out there. And so the minute that they wrote that check, consideration was already generated between them and the bank. So that answers that question right then and there. And if we just paying attention to what's going on, we'll understand more about this. And this is what we're missing out there, you guys. Okay. We need to stop guessing, and we need to start knowing what in the heck we're doing. Because the longer that we run around and start guessing and we start throwing these comments around, let me tell you, these are all prideful statements. Okay. These are all boastful. Okay. The delivery of these are boastful. These are arrogant. If you listen to how he's asking these questions and demanding this stuff, it's like it's true and he knows more than you do. That's what a narcissist does. A narcissist will always elevate themselves above other people because they're low vibrational and a whole other list of broken promises. But anyway, all right, let's keep going. Number 5, was my promissory note recorded as an asset on the bank's balance sheet? And if so, does this mean I am the true creditor and the bank is the bank simply monetized my credit? So we're not asking questions anymore. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed we're making assertions now? We're telling you, this is what Anna Von Wright told me. This is what Crooked David told me, or whoever else, I hope not anybody else you guys are listening to. I don't know where this came from, but this is ridiculous. So here's the reality. Your promissory note means that they're the holder in due course of your loan. Okay. If they hold the promissory note, and they most likely do, then you need to learn to assess it. In my class, Natasha, we're going to be talking about getting that note back. We're not even talking about that here. We're talking about like this promissory note just vanished and disappeared and went off into thin air, didn't we? You see how this guy's talking? And those of you guys that take, when we, in my class or in my class, and you're always in the class too, but anyway, I guess it's our class now. That's kind of nice. You know what? It's our class now. I love it. Anyway, so when we're in class together, okay, and we're talking about this stuff, these are some of the elements that we're talking about. We're trying to recoup some of this stuff. And just as we were talking about earlier today before the call, getting your taxes together and things like that, this is all the pre-setup that you need to do and understand so that you can get your taxes together, so that you can get these things back. And that's exactly what we were just talking about. We were talking about another security agreement that you found, and I don't know, it's going to add quite a bit of money back into the thing, and that's going to help a whole lot. And this is what we need to be doing. Sorry, I have something in my eye. This is what we need to be doing to properly manage our estates. We got too many people stomping around, acting like children, saying, it's my estate, I'm the beneficiary, it's mine. Like, you're so important, and they know what they're doing. And I'm talking to the Brandon Joe Williams people out there. I'm talking about those people. I'm talking about those people bumping around, beating on their chest, acting like they're something when they're really doing nothing. And that's not okay. That's a disservice to the public, if you want to know my personal opinion. It's just not okay. And sending people out to ask these kinds of silly questions doesn't help anybody. Here's another one, Natasha. Can you confirm whether my promissory note was securitized, sold, or transferred to the third party, such as the Federal Reserve, member bank investor? And if so, why was I not informed? And who is the real creditor?
Wow.
Talk about some Speedos strapped to the top of your head that haven't been washed in a week. Because we know, right? We know this. So, Natasha, can you answer this question? I'm going to read it to you again, okay? I'm going to put you on the spot. Sure. Can you confirm whether my promissory note was securitized, sold, or transferred to a third party, such as a Federal Reserve member bank or investor? Because, they just let any old investor show up and just, pull a card. He's number 42. He's an investor. He's going to go get your stuff now. Where do these people get this stuff from? Anyway, what are you thinking of that? Because you've dealt with the promissory note on your new vehicle and some of your other stuff, right?
Right. So whenever I bought mine, I done the OFS. I done the outside financing. I went to my credit union, said I wanted, XYZ for, a loan amount. Then I went to the dealership. They wrote them the check and went from there. Then I just paid my bank back. So, I mean, I knew that they didn't have the funds to, to cover it, because what is that little sign that says FDIC, and I mean, by the time they finance my car, their car, this car, that house, they're way above that right there.
Yeah, they're out of 250 grand. That's it.
Yeah. But as far as that, I can't really answer that. But I would think, because I'm the actual borrower, I don't really have much say in it from the beginning. And if they decide they wanted to trade it or sell it or do that, there's not much I can do, because I'm just a little bitty person over here that's just borrowing the money. So,
but at the end of the day, when we pay off the loan, what are we entitled to?
All of that back.
That's right. We get the note back, don't we?
Yeah,
and we're not asking if it got sent to the next episode of the Twilight Zone, like this comment is asking for. I mean, seriously, it says it. So it says, can you confirm whether my promissory note was securitized, sold, or transferred to a third party, such as a Federal Reserve bank member or an alien? It may as well be, because it's just some unnamed investor. And if so, why was I not informed? And who is the real creditor?
Well, no, the only thing that I can kind of think of, are they thinking about like the comptroller selling it to the state? Is that where they're kind of going with it? I
No,
don't.
they did. No, you're confused. You're thinking these people took our class. They didn't take the class.
Oh, okay.
They took somebody else's class. No, they took somebody else's class. I'm trying to, but knowing what we know in our class and knowing what we're doing over here on this side, I can giggle and laugh at this, because here's the deal, guys. They have your note and you're entitled to get it back. And we're going to talk about how to do that. And more importantly, Natasha, don't we? And we even talk about getting it back, but we also talk about, you ready? Securitizing it yourself. How would you like that? Wouldn't that be just nice and easy? I'm just saying. So we got a question. How can I join the class? Call my office tomorrow, 210-605-0144. That's 210-605-0144. Call my office tomorrow. I should be answering the phones tomorrow. My office opens at 9 a.m. Central Time, and we're going to close it up at 4 tomorrow. So if you call me between 9 and 4 at my office tomorrow, or you can go to the website, houseofyah.communityoutreach.com/workshops. If you and that's House of Yah, like Yahweh, YAH, houseofyahcommunityoutreach.com/workshops. You go there, you'll be able to set an appointment with me, and then we can talk that way. Or you can call my office, 210-605-0144. We'd love to speak with you. We are absolutely open to the public, and we're here to serve the public first. So if you guys got stuff going on, you got a court case, you just need some prayer, we just need to talk about it, whatever we need to do. If you just need somebody to listen to you, you know what? I'm okay with that, and I'm good with that, and it doesn't cost you a penny. Love to have you. So that's how you join the class. It's going to be a 2-day class. So it's going to be on the 11th and 12th from 6 to 9 p.m. Central Time, 3 hours, okay? And then another 3 hours. Now, the first 3 hours, we're going to be breaking it down. We're going to be talking about this kind of stuff. Where does the note go? You know? And more importantly, how do you get it? And who's done it? A bunch of my students. That's who. Anyway, assumption is that you didn't contract with the third-party debt collector. Maybe the fine print. Okay. We're going to be talking about how to deal with debt collectors too. We're going to be talking about how to deal with these clowns in court. I'm going to show you how to shut these guys down very, very fast. And more importantly, if they are dumb enough to take you to court, I'll show you how to shut those things down too. So the second day is going to be nothing but law. That's right. And you're right. I'm not giving any legal advice, Natasha. I don't care what they say. I've been reported to the bar. You know what? One time I got reported to the bar for practicing law without a license on my own case. That happened. I got a letter from the New Mexico Attorney General's office telling me I needed to stop practicing law. And I was like, I was pro se. What are we supposed to practice? Band practice? I'm confused. I don't know. Oh no, who buys the debt from the creditor. The class is $475. All proceeds benefit the House of Yah Community Outreach. We are a full-blown nonprofit. You're going to get 6 hours of class. You're going to get a ton of templates. We're going to go through the 609 letters. Those of you guys that know what those are dispute letters. You're going to get all that stuff. So those of you guys that want to clean up your credit, I'm going to show you how to do that quickly. Those of you guys that are dealing with third-party debt collectors, I'm going to show you how to deal with those guys quickly. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to mention any names, but I have a student on the call right now, and I'm not going to say who they are, but I have a student that's actually here, went through my class, had like a $7,000 lawsuit come at her, and we shut it down. We shut it down. They were too scared to show up. They didn't have a whipping boy. And that's what you want to find. And this is how we get her done, you guys. Listen, if you understand how to move in equity, you're going to understand how everything comes apart. And you're going to see these structures. You're going to see these debt collectors. You're going to see these bankers. You're going to see these people in lots of different ways. Now, Natasha, one of the things that I talk about in class is why good credit buyers sometimes get turned down. Do you guys know that happens? Why is that? And I mean, I know it's happened to you. So why does it happen?
I don't know how to articulate it as you do, but more or less it's because I
put her on the spot.
But it's too it's too good actually.
No, the reason that it happens is because yes, exactly that. Your credit is too good. And when they know that you know how to manage your stuff, these jicky little loan companies don't want to do business with Natasha because they might loan her something really big, like an ATV, a truck, a house, a car, a child. No, I'm kidding. No children. But anyway, any of this other stuff, they might loan her something, right? And if they do something shady, She might be just the one to flip the switch and it's game over for those guys. She might be just the one that's going to get away, go on the internet and tell everybody that what she did. Oh yeah, that's what I did. And so that's exactly what, and they're afraid of that. Okay. But here's what they never see coming. They never see me coming. And the reason why is because I'm going to show you guys this in the class. I'm going to show you how they handicap you like horses. Mm-hmm. And it goes way back. Think about the first time you saw your name in all caps, Natasha. When was that? When was the first time you saw your name in all caps? And when you were finger painting, that doesn't count.
Report cards.
Right?
Yeah.
How old were you? How old were you when you first saw your name in all caps?
4 or 5.
How old are you guys when y'all saw your name in all caps? Come on. Who's out there? Who's the youngest person out there saw their name? Or come on. Anybody? Think back. 4, 5, 3. What's the number?
4.
What do you think? At 4? I think so too. I think it's around 4. Now, why is that such a big deal? Is he just babbling? No, I'm going to make a point here. Hold on. Stay with me. Okay. Don't change the channel yet. Okay. So that's always when to say that. Anyway, so here's the thing. This is when they started sorting you. This is when they put Natasha on the front seat and they took Tim Damron and they were like, put him in the back seat. Shh, back here. And they were like, oh, Natasha will do everything that everybody says. And she has a nice, friendly smile and a cute little accent. She's going to be great. Let's just put her up front. She's wonderful. Done. Now, that loudmouth shook in the back, Tim Damron. No, no. That guy asked way too many questions. We already know. Now, how do they know this stuff, Natasha? How do they know this? How do they get you figured out?
Would they go off for like your parents or something like that, or generations?
Yeah.
Your name?
Yeah. Yeah, all that, all the above. And when they were putting, and now they got this new thing called Ancestry.com.
Oh,
and they're tricking everybody into signing up that thing. Why? So they can find you. Just saying. This is what it's all about. You know, did you know, Natasha, that every application you fill out goes to the Department of Treasury? Do you guys know that? Bet you Crooked David isn't telling you that because he don't know. But it's true. It does. Remember how they tell you? Remember how they tell you if you stay up really late with some of these 3 o'clock in the morning guys like Chris Hauser, if you stay up really late with those guys, you'll hear them talking about, and they're selling and trading your applications. Every time you fill out a credit app, they have it and they monetize it and they get it and they enslave your family and burn your house down and I'm coming, whatever. And then comes with a big scary story that comes with it. You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, or they cash it and pocket it themselves. That's a famous one.
And they went shopping while you were watching too.
Mm-hmm.
And they create this worst case scenario. But the reality is this, okay? Look, he's close. But the reality is this. All of those applications actually go to the Department of Treasury because it's performance, okay? And when the note and the application separate, that means somebody got funded. That should tell you a lot of things. I'm dropping lots of dimes today. Pick them up. They're good. All right. Crooked David woke me up. Got to give me credit. He led nowhere. Yeah. He does.
Well,
I mean, and you know what? I was hooked on Crooked David for like 2 hours. And then I figured out this guy is like mimicking me. He says exactly the same stuff I do. And I was like, wait a minute. And then I heard him do this other spill where he went through a whole book, Natasha, and like word for word, but then put himself in the middle of it. Like it was his own material. You know those You're the Straw Man books that are like $5 on Amazon, and everybody thinks now we have the keys to the kingdom for $15. You know what I'm talking about? Get to know your straw man, those little $5 books. It was one of those books, and I heard him do a thing, and he actually like just word for word. I mean, I got the book out and I was like, he's on chapter 2. Look at that. And I mean, and there he went. Unbelievable. And I'm telling you, man, there's some sick people out there. Some sick people. This is not healthy behavior. If you can mimic somebody that good and you're not smart enough to learn the stuff yourself, but you're smart enough to go mimic somebody that good, there's something broken in your concrete plant for sure. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
If you're going to go through all that trouble and memorize it, you might as well learn it. That's what I'm thinking.
Exactly.
The
So
tape is falling off.
whenever you were talking about the application and stuff, so have you said once before that is the form of begging, right? So
It is.
if you're sitting and that guy that was asking all those questions, if you're sitting in front of somebody and you're begging them for money, really, what right do you have to keep asking them all those questions? That's kind of where I was going with it, in my head. I was
Well,
like, huh?
it makes sense because you're set up for one specific purpose. And trust me, there was like 9 questions. I'm not reading all of them because they're ridiculous.
Right.
And it's a circular discussion that keeps going back to, please tell me that what everybody is telling me is true about all this and set me straight. That's what he's asking you to do. And the problem is their job is not to raise children. And when you ask questions like that, that's exactly what you look like. No disrespect intended to anybody. But I'm just saying, when you come at them and you say, this is a matter of fact, and it's not as a matter of fact, the right way to come in is to ask the questions without the assumptions, because that's what we read was a lot of assumptions. Well, then if this happened, then this happened. And if this happened, then this happened. And all of a sudden you've got this thing that's grown up, right in front of us.
Well, even if they are doing some of that stuff, what can you do about it? Other than go ahead and
That's
pay
it.
off. Well, and then that's it. But that's what I like about your class, though. Even though if they do X, Y, Z, or this or that or other, get your security agreement and then get your note back. So,
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
gonna show you guys how to get your money, man. Don't worry about it.
well, I mean, we're so used to going out working 9 to 5 every day, for this. And then, I mean, it's no different than going to the grocery store saying I'm spending $100. I don't ever get that $100 back. So, I mean, same thing with like your security agreements or a vehicle or whatever. You don't
Do
get that
that.
money back, but this class you do. So,
Yeah, well, this class you're gonna do it, and back I've got someone here, and Thomas is throwing some comments about Crooked David back and forth, and I guess he's had some um he's letting me know that Dave's ripples have led me to you, so he's very grateful for that. And you know what, man, I'm glad I'm glad it came over here to me too, because I'm gonna tell you, me personally, Tasha, everything I was doing was very quiet. This call that we're on right now, this was a private call. This was never on social media. I've been doing this 9 years. So, but up until about 4 years ago, and like I was telling you, when I heard Crooked David start imitating me and other people like that, that's when I came up and I decided, you know what, I'm going to come out. I'm going to dust off my shoes, and we're gonna bag and tag this one because he's a liar. And he is. And I'm sorry, I know that's not a popular word to say here on TikTok, and I apologize if it hurt anybody's feelings, but truth is truth. And, we want to live in a place where we have control over what we're doing, not that and we don't want to be guessing. So all the stuff that you're going to experience in this class is real. We're going to talk about on the second day how I foreclosed on my lender and took my car from him. Not one of them, 2 of them. Yeah. And I mean, what would do this? I mean, who would do this right here on TikTok in front of everybody? Who would do something like this? Somebody that's telling the truth. Somebody that's done it. I'm a fellow musician too, man. I know, brother. Actually, you know what? My classes the 11th and 12th is going to be on, what is that, a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
let me see. Do you have a firm mailing book on the 13th as well on the website?
Yes.
Okay. So the 11th.
We have firm mailing book class on the 13th. So yeah, and those of you guys that want to jump in, if you guys want to jump into the debt and foreclosure class, you could take the 13th class. That's on me. Okay. Anybody that's in that class, anybody that's in the debt and foreclosure class, jump in the firm mailing book class because this is very key. You're going to see how this stuff really comes together. What in the heck is a firm mailing book, Natasha? Well, it's right here. This is what a firm mailing book is. And look, I got 2 of these things full, man. I got a lot of experience with this guy. And I'm going to show you how these things work. They work real good. Even when the courts like to go in and they want to mess up their records and they want to hide your stuff or delete your stuff, this is happening to me in Houston County right now. Doesn't matter. The post office still has records of everything. This is when we're operating in common law, you guys. Not walking in there with some name tag on and says, I'm in common law. No. When you're operating in common law, that means you have your stuff together. That means you have an affirmative record. And we're going to be talking about how to do that. This is very, very key. The second day, we're going to be talking about foreclosure. 2 of my students, we're going to be talking about that too. 2 of my students actually foreclosed on their homes. I'm going to be sharing with you my story on how I did some vehicles, a couple of vehicles, and not that I wanted to. Okay. This is not something that you want to do, but you know what? Sometimes you have to. Sometimes they do you dirty. Sometimes they think you're stupid and they think they can just do you any old kind of way. No. I'm going to show you guys that these contracts and these security agreements actually have handlebars that go both ways. So you can take a ride and they can take a ride. And what happens is those streets are wide open, Natasha. That's really what happens is that what happens is that those streets of commerce, those streets of equity are absolutely wide open. And when they're wide open like that, that means you get to travel on them too. And that means you get to do all the same stuff that they do. Yeah. And then we're going to be talking about the tax benefits of all this. How do we get all this stuff back? What if they don't give you the contract, Natasha? What if they don't give you your stuff? We're going to be talking about how to get it back. Yeah. This is a lot of information, you guys. Also, those of you that may have did you hear this week that Donald Trump is passing or he's signing an executive order or something? It's supposed to go into effect. But any felon that's had or anybody that's had a conviction and it's over 12 years old, it's gone. There's no more. And all rights are going to be reinstated. That means people that were protecting their homes and had guns and then they got charged with a felony in possession of a firearm. That's stupid. And the reason why is because Judge Clarence made a ruling and said that the Constitution doesn't allow for the restriction of guns. So this is changing. Those of you guys that may have some old convictions, you've done your time and they're still just, it's still out there in your record. I'm going to talk to you guys about how to get rid of those too. Those are public debts. Yeah. Just like credit card debts. And we're going to be talking about the credit report. How does that work? How does all that really work? How does this scoring system really work? You ever notice that, Natasha? There's no book or there's no set of rules for the credit unions that they release to anybody that say, okay, if you do this, you're going to lose 5 points. If you do this, you're going to lose 2 points. There's no absolute. Have you noticed that? It's all floating.
Yeah, because I've noticed whenever like my bank ran my credit and stuff for my loan for my house, it dropped. But and then some people say it's 2 points here, but yeah, it would be actually kind of nice to know, or if you pay something off early, you would think that it would go up. Yeah. Or why does it hurt you so bad whenever you pay something off early?
And here's the crazy part. How does a company like Credit Karma, how can they give you a forecast on what's going to happen to your credit? You don't have to go into Credit Karma. They'll give you like a forecast on if you were to pay off all of your debt, you know what I mean? Because everybody can just go pay off all their debt. And they give you like this perfect, and it'll do this to your credit score. And this will go up here and this will go up here and you'll go here and go there and whatever else. We see that going on. What standard are they using? In this class, I'm going to talk to you about that. I'm going to tell you how they make those decisions, why they don't have a book that says this is an absolute, this is what happens when you do this. This is what happens. Basically, how come it's not fair? Because it's really not. I mean, the reality is that it's not even. I think Chris Rock said it best. Natasha, when he was saying that, when he was talking about, white babies and black babies and white babies coming out with it. And this is not meant to be racial. I'm just reporting on what he said. So apologize if it offends anybody, but you're saying that, black babies come out of the womb with a 500 beacon score, 400 beacon score. And then blonde hair, blue eye baby Johnson comes flying out of the womb, and that's a 730, 725 beacon. He says that. And everybody laughs, because they all know it's true. Did you hear what I said? Because they all know it's true. I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you what those real factors are. And I've already said some of it tonight. A big part of it is your family. A big part of it is how they perform. But we're going to go even deeper than that. Okay? And the point is that we need to learn to operate privately. We need to stop doing all this public stuff. Okay? And now it doesn't mean that you need to hide from the public. That's not what I'm saying. What it means is we need to stop operating in the public. We need to stop running around with our pack of cigarettes, metaphorically, rolled up in our sleeve right here, and all of our business just like right here, Yeah, no, you can't do that anymore. Think about what you're doing when you're at work and you're running errands for your boss. You got a name tag, uniform, hat, something, some apron, something's on that says Natasha's at work that day. Okay. Well, maybe not Natasha, because, she has special privileges, but for the rest of us out there that have to go down there and put it down, Well, that was random. Thank you, Thomas. Thomas says the new moon is invisible when it's closest to the sun. Thank you. Okay, let's try to stay on point, everybody. Thank you, though, for everybody, and thank you, Mike, for the gifter badge. I appreciate that. It was very nice. Thank you so much. Welcome, Terry, to the call. If you guys have questions, this is the time to ask. Okay, I know the new moon is invisible when it's closest to the sun. I know that. Thank you, though, for letting us know. But listen, because I follow. That's how we roll. I'm practicing Hebrew. Anyway. Anybody have any questions about what's going on? What to expect from this class? What do you think people would want to expect from this class, or what is going to happen in this class that maybe I don't know. What do you think? So anything I didn't cover?
As far as the class, it's really great. You teach us, this particular one is, like you said, you've covered, your credit score, why they, like what you were just talking about, why are you picked here, there, because of your family, because of minorities, because of this. Yeah. Right. Let's see, going over your vehicle, foreclosure. Yeah. Let's see.
Well, let's see, a year or 2 years ago, I had 2 students that successfully foreclosed on their lenders. One of them in California, one of them in Georgia. We're going to be talking about how they did it. And they actually used my paperwork to do it, but they added one extra step. We had a talk, we visited, and we had one piece of strategy that we added that's a little different from what I did. But it was very effective. And these guys even went to court. Both of them did, Natasha. And one little piggy went all the way home, went wee, all the way home, and just, I don't have to worry. The one in Georgia was good. The one in California, they sent a whipping boy in, and the whipping boy got whipped, and everybody went home happy, except for the whipping boy, of course. So, these are the things that we need to hear, okay? We need to hear people winning, Natasha. And I don't think we're seeing enough of that out there. I don't think we're seeing a lot of people raising HELL. We're seeing a lot of people making a lot of noise out there. But what's good to make? What's the good of making all that noise out there if it's not doing anything? That's my thing. Yeah. Do you remember that? Do you remember those special endorsements that were pretty popular a few months ago?
I do.
Notice how nobody's getting any more new cars. Have you noticed that? Yeah. Well, I go in and I check out his, the Brandon Joe Williams page. I check it out, and nobody's getting any new cars. Apparently, we're not doing that anymore. It was working so well, though, wasn't it? Remember all the Porsches we saw and
all that? We're trying to figure it out. Yeah, there was a new one that come across, and it was like a 1099 ES or EV, but I didn't really get into it that much. But it was sometimes, unfortunately, it just looks like some kind of scandal or some kind of something that somebody's trying to get over on somebody to either sell them a class or, give them a little bit of this and not follow through, not have proof themselves. And, it's just a different technique for a different day. And that's what I really like about your classes. You're here all the time. You have your proof, and like with me, sometimes I still, have questions about my taxes or, hey, I got this in the mail. What do I do with it? And, you know, you're there for us, for all your students. Make an appointment and you talk it through. Meeting of the minds. It's really lovely. It's great. It's a
It,
small family.
it is a small family, but you know what? Once you get in, we take care of you and we take care of our own. Those of you have that, and here's the one thing that I will never tell you. I will never deny you and tell you we can't help you or nobody can help you or whatever. And I will never say anything like, well, I guess you need to do some more studying. I think that is the most disingenuous thing to say to somebody that's coming to you for help, Natasha. Well, I guess you need to do some more studying. That's why they're coming to you. And I'm going to tell you, I heard this a lot from Crooked David's people, when they would finally corner him and get him kind of stuck and he was committed and he had no place to go other than to lie or tell the truth. That's what he does. That's what he chose.
Yeah, I think still some of the biggest things that people talk about is being that state national, uh,
Oh,
giving up
that
your.
just makes no sense.
Yeah. Well, that was
American State National.
one of my things is just sometimes whenever you scroll on TikTok, I come across a lady and then she was talking about the right lady, which we know who that is, and then it gravitated to the Crooked David, then it gravitated to the Kenny, and then at that point I just put everything down. I was like, you know what, this something's not right, something's not adding up. It was just people talking in circles and not making sense. And then you come across one of my pages and I think it was a live like this one night. And I was like, started asking questions and you were just firing it off like, no, don't do that. It don't make sense. And you would explain why. And I was like, okay, I found my home. So.
And I'm telling you guys, any of you guys out there, you know what? Come stump the trunk, please. Come ask me questions. Ask me questions about anything. Tell me something about anybody's process. Does it work? Does it not work? I'm going to tell you, I woke up in 2015, Natasha. I went down all these rabbit holes, just like some of you guys are doing right now. Okay. I have run into all kinds of crud, stop doors. I even went and filed one of those. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but don't do this. Okay. But I went down even to probate court and filed a whole thing down there. Like I was dead, paid a filing fee and everything because I was going to resurrect the dead estate and discharge all of my debt through the probate court. That's what these cuckoo birds came up with in 2015. And trust me, give it a couple. Guys, remember what I'm saying about this, okay? And give it a year. And some other crackpot is going to come out of the woodwork with the very same idea that I just said. And I'm going to tell you, I was very, very fortunate that Yahweh had so much favor on me. The judge told me I'm keeping your filing fee. And it doesn't look like you're trying to hurt yourself. But I'm telling you what you're doing is fraudulent. And what do you mean it's fraudulent? Well, because you're not dead. And when you're dead, but I'm a dead entity. That's fine. You're a dead entity, but you're not dead. You're still here. And until you have a death certificate, you're not discharging any debt off of this dead estate. You have to be dead first. And this is what they were taking out of all this, what's his name? That grouchy guy. What's his name? I always forget his name. I can't think of his name right now. And I'll think of him in a minute. Patrick Devine, that guy. Okay. So this guy comes up with some story, right? Says you can go into the dealership and you can get this contract monetized and you can walk out with it and you'll get a free car. I spent 23 years in the car business. You got yourself a deal, Hot Rod. He explained it to me. And you know what? It made sense. However, Here's what I didn't have. Vehicle, Natasha. I didn't have the right vehicle. I didn't have the understanding. And see, there was no benefit for them to monetize that security agreement for them. It doesn't benefit the bank at all. So you remember those questions that I was reading about the balance sheets and all that stuff? Well, those balance sheets come into effect for everything that goes to the Treasury window. So that means all their traffic that goes to the Treasury window has to be assessed through a return. So where do we assess our returns, Natasha? Through the IRS, right? Guess where our TT&L window is? Your friend and mine, the IRS. Oh, but they're going to abolish the IRS. No, they're not. Stop it. It's not going to happen. It will never happen because they've been put in charge to help us, to look out for us. And they're the only agency. Oh, but it's a non-governmental agency. Isn't that the point? Isn't that the winning team, everybody? I thought it was. So these people are looking out for us, you see. Oh, Thomas is asking me, what do you mean I didn't have the right vehicle? What I'm saying is not the right vehicle as in car. Yeah, I see how that could have gone sideways. What I'm saying is that I didn't have the right accounts open. Okay. Or when you don't have the right account open. No, money and tax kind of works both ways. But let me explain to you how. I'm going to tell this. This is something from my class, but it's cool. I'm going to tell you anyway. So the TT&L window, we've been talking about that tonight. Tax, treasury, lien. That's what it stands for. Now, Satan speaks backwards about everything. So let's flip this thing around. Treasury, tax, lien. Or I'm sorry, lien, treasury, tax. That's backwards. That's that backwards. That's how our money's created. So to answer that whole guy's question, 1 through 15 or whatever he had on all the stuff that he had about the note, if he would have just known that, he wouldn't be asking those questions. It's cool, man. Don't be sorry, brother. Thomas, you can ask all the questions you want, man. We got to open tonight. We don't care. We love it. We love answering your questions. You know what? And more importantly, I like it when people ask me questions they don't think I know the answer to. Go call your gurus up. Come on, man. Go ahead. Bring them. Bring them all. Because I'm the real deal. I've walked this walk, and I've done it honorably, and I've done it without excuses, more importantly. And my students, they're winning too. And they've been winning for the last 9 years. I have nothing online that says that nobody's saying anything about me that none of this stuff isn't true. And if you Google anybody like April Lejeune, Chris Hauser, Crooked David, if you Google any of those guys' names, you're going to see that people say that about them. And the reason why, Natasha, is because it's true.
Well, I know with April, she tells a lot of things. Well, I mean, she's more of the state national, so she kind of goes sideways this way. And from what I understand, there's a lot of people that have really wanted to cause her physical harm because, you know, one thing that is whenever you start filing motions and affidavits and start filing UCCs, you really need to be careful and, you know, do your due diligence because you can get some serious trouble for what is that, frivolous filing and stuff like that. So
it has.
I mean, if y'all people have. I mean, if y'all always telling you something your gut ain't right, you better pray about it. You know,
I'm saying
that was for me. And it led me away. It led me away from a lot of them. So,
oh, I have a question here. Thomas is asking, could Natasha explain more about what goes on after? So I guess because we did your OFS. After more goes on after the purchase. In other words, so when we talked about vehicle, we talked about having the right vehicle, and the right vehicle is having a trust account. It's the right vehicle is having a trust EIN, because if you don't have a trust EIN, you can't go up and down the streets of commerce. You just get to watch and sit in the drive-thru like you've been doing. And that's true. And then all they do is they just ask you for more money because you can't discharge your debt. There you go. Mm-hmm. And this class is going to help you get that together so you can stay in there. That's right. We're a nonprofit. We help homeless vets, and we help people that cannot help themselves. We have some attorneys, we have paralegals that volunteer their time for us, with us, and we help people out with all kinds of stuff. And we have a vast amount of resources. Who is recently Candace Williams, Dr. Candace Williams. She's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
I don't recommend doing the nonprofit EIN trust. There's no such thing. You're either a nonprofit or you're a trust, but you get an EIN on both of those. So you just got to choose one. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, answering that one, because I was actually looking, you got to be careful with that one. Like you were saying, you're either got your trust, and that over here is for your beneficiaries. That way you can say that they go to college, this goes for that and all that. Whenever you're over here in your nonprofit, that is going for your organization. That is, if you're doing conservation, do you need a vehicle to help somebody? Money to feed the homeless, so those two kind of really, they both do get the EIN number, but they're used for two different things. If you commingle them, yeah, different tools. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
And just because something has four wheels doesn't mean it's a car. Just because your dog has a license doesn't mean you need to hand him the keys and send him down for a 6-pack of beer. Don't do that. It might sound the same, but it's not the same. It's the stuff we're going to be talking about. So, and I think what he's talking about is there's I think the American State Nationals, wherever they are, those people are they talk about setting up a 508c3 or a what do they call that? A private membership, a PMA. I think David Straight talks about that. I think it's like $2,500 or something. It's stupid. Anyway, and I say it's stupid because it's not going to produce anything. I know so many people that have taken that class, paid that money for that stuff, and they're not doing anything with it. That's a beautiful thing, Thomas. You know what? Get on the side of Yahweh, and if you're not already, man, and I'll tell you what, man, you'll be able to go a lot of places. I have been more successful in this chair helping people than I ever have working 1 minute for any other employer or even working for myself. This is where I'm successful at. And this is what Yahweh has called me to do. And I love it. It's the best job in the world. And I love all of y'all. I do. Every one of y'all. Thank you so much. Natasha, really, especially you. Thank you. Well, Thomas, this is a good place to start because we got a lot of people that are on the ground running. I have a lot of students all over the country. Actually, we have students in Wales. We have students in Canada for now, if they don't hate us. We have students in Australia, and I have one student in I feel bad now. I can't remember. The Kiwis. He's a Kiwi. What's his name? What are those guys? It's the place next to Australia. What's it called?
Brazil?
No, it's that other little island next to them. But anyway, they're called the Kiwi. New Zealand. We have one. I have a student in New Zealand. His name is Timothy too, ironically. And it's funny. He was actually he was a fan of mine back when I played music full time. And then all of a sudden, when this happened, he stayed on as my friend as Facebook, and now he's one of my students. He's been taking my classes, so I get calls from him from time to time. They're wonderful, beautiful people. But I'm going to tell you guys, listen. Start operating in trust. And once you operate in trust, then your doors aren't required to be open. If you want to set up a PMA, go open a Costco. Okay. That's a PMA basically. And if you're trying to do anything else other than that, it's not going to work. I'm just going to tell you, it just doesn't work. That I've not seen anybody come out of that group successful. And honestly, for $2,500, for less than $2,500, you could take all my classes for less than that. I think for about $1,900, you could take all my classes and have 34 hours of class time. Yeah, 34 hours of class time and a stack of templates like that. And you wouldn't come anywhere close to 2,500. Not only that, but we're here to help you. And just as Natasha said, I'm always here for my students. I'm on the phone with my students every single day. Somebody's always setting appointments, except for those people that have special access. We won't mention any names or anything. But other than that, I'm always busy, and I'm always busy talking and helping the people and helping people get stuff done and talking to their tax professionals and trying to teach them how the babies are made so they can understand. And the last two that I've spoke with, actually, Natasha, including yours, they left the conversation enamored, like, oh my God, wow, I didn't know that. You know what I mean? And now they're understanding more about their job and how it works. And I think it was almost a witnessing tool just there on its own. Really, honestly, it was good.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. So just express trust. Trust is very broad. Well, it's not. Trust is very broad because all trusts are created to do a specific thing. Okay. Like you could have a trust that is a
set up for somebody disabled.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
You get, those of you guys that have adults that are in your homes and they're disabled, to consolidate their care, you should put them in a trust. And by putting them in a trust, you turn them into a transmitting utility. This is what I teach in my class. You turn them into a transmitting utility, and then all the care that you're providing now becomes accessible. And when I say it's accessible, that means that you can discharge the debt. That means you get the tax credits back. That means reducing your taxable income, putting everything back in the kitty. This is how our money system actually works. It's supposed to make a circle and come back. The question here is so for one, or you only need one trust? You need one trust, and then you'll need a will that will tell the beneficiaries what to do after the grantor is gone. And the beautiful thing about the way we set up our trust in my class is that they truly are irrevocable. No court's going to open that thing up. No court is going to tell your beneficiaries, you don't deserve anything, or what he said doesn't matter. When you're in an irrevocable status, you stand in equity and you stand as a business. And again, like I said earlier, those streets of commerce are wide open when you do that. And when you're operating appropriately and properly, you get to move just like the semi trucks do, up and down the road. Even if you're in a Volvo, it doesn't matter. Are there any other questions? Man, thank you, everybody. Thomas, man, thanks for all the great questions. Everybody else, all the input, man. So appreciate all of you guys. Patrick, thank you for joining the call. Terry, glad you're here as well. Welcome, Royalty. Glad you're here as well. Royalty Hygiene 444. Welcome to the call. Richie, welcome to the call. Listen, this is a powerful class. Okay. I'm going to show you guys how all this stuff really works. And the purpose of this class is actually the number 3 class. Okay. The first class we offer is a trust class, trust workshop. Then we do a travel and driving class. And then we have debt and foreclosure. And the reason that we have these classes set up this way is because of the fact that we have an unlimited ability to contract, Natasha. They could pull you out of your position at any time. So these classes are meant so that you can stay in trust, so you can stay operating as the administrator of that trust. The question is, so who is the grantor? God to you. You're the grantor. Yeah, you're the grantor. You're actually the straw man is the grantor. And the living person is the guy that runs all the errands. Isn't that what you're already doing? See? You're already doing it anyway. Now we're just putting a name tag on it and calling it something. And now you have the ability to move on it, Natasha. That's the difference. Hold on, I'm still getting some more questions here. Thank you so much for the badges, everybody. I appreciate that. Please like and share. Please, it would really be helpful. We appreciate y'all so much. Thank you so much. Welcome to the call, man. Natasha, I just want to thank everybody that's here tonight. We have over 1,000 hearts today. Everybody's throwing hearts at us like crazy. And I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. And I don't know, I got some kind of colored thing over here in the corner that That looks cool. So thank you for sending that too. You know how they send all kinds of whatever and little hats and sombreros and stuff. Hey, man, it's got some of that stuff over here. I appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing. This is a powerful class. And I'm going to tell you, this class is really breaching. This class really does go the full Monty. It goes about 3.5 hours. Sometimes it go a little bit longer. So if you guys are down for that and down to really get into the meat and potatoes of understanding debt, understanding contracts, and then seeing this paperwork, the very templates I'm going to show you, you're going to see these templates operating in action. I'm going to show you what they did in court. I'm going to show you what they did when they weren't in court. So I've done it both ways. Foreclosed on a lender and took their vehicle and went to court. I'm going to talk to you about that. And then I did another one and we didn't go to court at all. And it's been 2 years now since I did it. So we're still not in court and nothing's on my credit. Everything is cool and everything is good. So that's performance. And that's what you want to see from your teachers. Okay. I'm not telling you I'm the best, but here's what I am going to tell you. I've got results, real solutions. That's what we do here. We don't play around with that sovereign citizen moonshine. We don't play around with any of that stuff. Right, Natasha? We got time for that, man. We're too old for that stuff. You guys got time for that stuff? I don't think so. Right? Well, it's 7:00 and man, I just want to thank everybody that joined us here on the call tonight. You guys are amazing. My heart goes out to all of y'all. I hope that Yahweh blesses your homes, your days. If you guys are interested in joining this class, call my office tomorrow. 210-605-0144. 210-605-0144. Call my office tomorrow. Let's do an interview. Let's talk a little bit. I want to see where you are in your walk because this class has so much information. I try to really make these things tailored around the individuals that are there. So if we don't have anybody that needs to expunge their record, we're probably not really going to spend much time and talk about that. But if we do, we're going to talk about it. Those of you guys that might be going through a foreclosure right now or went through a foreclosure or just bought a new car, how do we fix all this stuff? I'm going to show you how to get your houses in order. So that way, when you head to the tax table in April, because it's coming up, you know exactly what you need to do. And more importantly, you're prepared. Okay. Let's turn on the lights, man. I'm done with these dark rooms, right, Natasha? I'm done with all these dark rooms. This is just.
I'm ready for everybody to start learning to do it better, and to learn the right way. Use equity, use honor. Let's get together and get it done.
Absolutely, absolutely. You heard it from Natasha. She meant it. Represent that, and the fight goes with it. That's what she said. I don't care. Cool, man. I hope I get to meet with you tomorrow, Thomas. I look forward to it. Corona Crusher, thanks for being here tonight. Patrick, thank you for just everything. Patrick, you're just a wonderful dude. Becky, thank you for being here tonight as well. Paula, thank you for being here. Terry, thank you for being here as well. A1 Look, nice to see you as well. Thank you for being here. I want to wish you guys well. If you guys are interested in taking this class, I have 4 seats left. That's it. I keep these classes very small. So call my office tomorrow, 210-605-0144. And happy to talk with you guys. You guys be blessed in all you do. We'll see you next week. Right, Natasha? We'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Absolutely. Be here.
Right on.
Everybody, have a great
Shalom,
night.
everybody. Good night, everybody.